Hey everyone, this is George Bairuthi from FS Securities. We are an education and information firm on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. And every morning I go through what happened overnight and try to forecast what we're likely to see on our market and the global market today and the next few days. Which I try to find out who is actually, what company is hot and which company is not, and what you should hold and what you should fold. Well, overnight and from around the globe, we start with Wall Street, where we can see here the Dow was down 6.9% on top of the 1% drop yesterday and 1% drop the day before. So we've got nearly 10% correction in the last 3 days. And that's of course not very good for Mr. Trump, who actually keep bragging about what he's doing for the economy. And the S&P 500 was down 6%, again 2 drops in two previous days. And the Nasdaq, the champion of all the indices in America, well, we've seen 5.3% drop and below the 10,000 level. In Europe, the Stoxx 50 index, which comprises most major European markets, was down 4.5%, again on top of the 2 previous losses. And the FTSE 100 index, again the same thing, 4% down. The DAX 4.5% down. And in Japan, the Nikkei index down 2.8%. And in China, the Shanghai index was down 1%. On our market yesterday, we've seen the market, our ASX 200, falling by 3%. That's nearly 190 points below the 6,000 level for quite some time. And by the way, the futures are no relief for us, because we look like we're going to see another 3% drop in our market, 181 points at the start of trading. Gold, 1,736, 16 points higher than the previous morning. That 3.8 drop only refers to the comparison between last night and this morning. But here we compare the various mornings, and you can see the changes in the price of gold and also the price of silver, which, by the way, compared to yesterday morning, almost unchanged, and really not unchanged for the last 3 days. Copper down 0.6%, and Brent oil down 7.6%, down to $38.55, and the crude oil, West Texas crude oil, down 0.5%, $36.12. You can see all the oil across the 3 days, quite a lot of drops. And soybeans, a bit of a rise to compare to yesterday morning. The Australian dollar, 68.35 after being hovering around the 70 cents. That's a major drop. And also give you 60.5 euro cents, 54.3 British pence, and 106 New Zealand. And by the way, Bitcoin, for those who follow Bitcoin, 9,320 US. That is down 570 US overnight. And that compares to approximately 13,630 Australian dollars, down 510 Australian dollars. You can see here that big candle, that's the daily candle, and you can see the weekly candle as well. You can see week on week, that's a major drop. And going back to the 61.8, is it going to go below the 61.8 and then fall down to the 50% retracement, or retrace it upward and try to recover from that major loss? Okay, tonight we will see what happens, and during the morning we'll actually keep watching what are the indices, the futures on the Dow is indicating what's going to happen tonight. Okay, on our Australian market, again also a major drop yesterday. You can see again hitting, or very close to hitting, the 100-day moving average. However, you can see the stochastic, a major bend down, but still above the 80%. I think today we're going to see it below the 80% line, which is actually the overbought line. and the parabolic stop and reverse, we're most likely going to see it, the dot above the candle, which means a bearish indicator. And we might see that 50-day moving average dropping quite a bit today as well. In terms of yesterday, the volume was high to 4 billion transaction, higher than the previous day. But you can see here, 48% of all the stocks declined and only 16% of the stocks advanced. And here, for the first time in many weeks, we've seen the blue bar, which indicates the advances. We see now the advances very close to the declines, and the decline have actually hit the highest level for 2, 4, 6, 7 weeks. So it looks like we might see a reversal. We were wrong in expecting the market to continue to go higher. Again, all the indicators that we look at, some of them are lagging and some of them are leading. So we don't really expect to see a change in these indicators until probably in the next couple of days. However, we can see that the market in America, for the conservative trader, we turned from bullish to neutral. But we remain for the Nasdaq to continue to be bullish. But then remember, for the investor, we look at the monthly and the weekly. And the monthly and the weekly don't change on Thursday. They change at the end of the week and at the end of the month. So the monthly indicator will remain until the end of the month, and then this can turn neutral because the weekly indicator can change during the week. In terms of wheat, we've turned bearish on wheat. The Australian dollar slightly less bullish, and the American dollar basket still very bearish, and the euro very strong. Again, okay, we look at our market, we can see here that despite yesterday declines, the only change we can see that CIMIC, the old Leighton Holdings, turn neutral for the conservative trader. These indicators will change today for sure. Newcrest Mines, we've turned from bearish for the very aggressive trader to neutral and bullish. So again, by the way, I have to confess that all these forecasts that we have here from the indicators that we look at, our GB8, which is our mechanical system, as some of them are only giving you 70 to 80% probability of success on a day by day. However, we compare the weekly to be more accurate because things can change a bit slower. And for the daily, of course, things can change up and down from one day to another. Yesterday, we've seen the company Kogan 7% up in the price. Northern Star, Newcrest Mines, all the gold companies have actually had a very good day. Also Ramsay, which is healthcare, was actually down 0.2%. Again, all these companies have actually were down, so only a few up the top here. Now, every day we try to look for companies with extra volume, and Medibank Private had 1% increase in the price and 37% increase in the volume. The moving average volume over 50 days shows 12.2 million transactions per day on an average over 50 days, and yesterday we had 16. On the downside, Bellevue Gold for the first time, actually this is up, sorry, nothing on the top 50 bearish. However, for the mid cap, we've got Bellevue Gold, excuse me, and continues to go higher and higher. That's it's a company, but unfortunately we cannot trade Bellevue Gold on CMC CFD platform. On the downside, all these companies are down and extra volume, and we are not having a good day on our CFD yesterday, from 4.2 thousand down to $1,500 in profit, and with that we can see that also decreasing today. In terms of announcement today, we have on the 30-year bond was actually higher, went up higher from 1.34 to 1.4, and tonight we're going to see import prices. We expect that to be slightly up by 0.6. We'll see what happens tonight. In terms of what happened yesterday, looking at federal budget balance, we expected $580 billion deficit. Well, we ended up with $398 billion deficit, a little bit better actually. And in terms of our inflation expectation, we have 3.3% inflation expectation. And unemployment claims, we had 1.5 million further claims. We expected 1.5, now it's actually slightly better than the 1.55. Okay, finally, the disclaimer. Everything we said here today is of general advice only, and please, before you take any action, please consult with us, and remember that there is risk in trading, and you need to understand your own risk appetite, and there is no guarantee that everything we said today is going to happen, simply because there are too many variables. If you have any questions, you have to ask, and if you want to talk to us, you can write to me at George@FS. FS stands for full service, FS Securities, plural. George@fssecurities.com.au. If you're ringing from overseas, the country code is 61, you don't need a 0, 61 411 259526. Ringing locally, you ring 0411 259526. I'm available 27 days, 24/7, and 7 days a week. Leave a message if I can't get in touch directly with me. All right, well, it's happy trading, and I hope you make some money, or you even avoid major losses today.